Blessed love, you are in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, getting ready for the best workout of your life. This is going to be all audio, so you focus on what you're doing instead of what I'm doing. So you could lay down on the ground. If you have not already, get some water. Get about 32 ounces of water. Optimally, you drink a cup or 8 ounces before your workout, 8 ounces during your workout, and 8 ounces after your workout. What's more essential than that even is that you feel no pain and all gain. Slight discomfort, resistance, stress, and tension is great. That's what we're looking for, but no pain. If you feel pain, stop and we can make a alternative motion. All right, let's get ready. So you're on the ground, laying on your back, breathing in nice and deep, visualizing the best workout of your life, visualizing yourself doing everything perfectly, visualizing your perfect body, your breathing, your energy level, your thoughts and emotions are all in line with this workout. This is you time right now. All right, so we're going to start with a double leg lift. So with both legs, you're going to lift them off of the ground. And ready, set, and go. We're going to do this for 1 minute. So optimally, your legs are going all the way up and all the way down. You're engaging your feet. You're flexing or pointing your foot so that you have that mind-body connection. You feel your legs going up and down. Your hip flexors and quadriceps are the primary mover, yet your abdominals are stabilizing. If you have any trouble at all getting your feet all the way to the ground, it's okay. You could not go all the way down. Make sure your back is firmly pressed against the ground. Your back is firmly pressed against the ground and you're tightening your abdominal muscles, your abs, your abdominal wall. And this is what gets your muscles to adapt to the resistance, which creates strength. And that's 1 minute. 1 minute, your life spent so wisely. Next, your feet are going to be close to your body, knees bent, feet close to your body, feet on the floor, and you're going to push up to do a hip thrust. And ready, go. So you're pushing your hips up and back down. You're pushing your hips up and back down, being sure to breathe as deeply as possible throughout every exercise, every range of motion. Every time you're moving, you're breathing out and breathing in as deeply as possible. This is a valve for your blood pressure. If you do not breathe deeply, you can create the Valsalva maneuver in which your blood pressure gets so high that you actually could pass out. So breathe easy and visualize yourself doing this motion perfectly, going as high up as you can. Pause in between the up and down phase to create a clear distinction from point A to point B. You're moving up and down with that hip thrust. Just a few more seconds. We're doing 1 minute of each exercise. You're doing phenomenal. And that is 1 minute. Next exercise is going to be your crunch. So your hands are on your legs or your quadricep or your thighs, and you're going to go up, keeping your hands on your legs. You're going to touch your knees and back down and start. So your hands are always in contact with your legs. You're just moving them up about 3 inches, touching the top of your knee and coming back down. Moving up, touching the top of the knee and back down. That's about a 3-inch movement where your spine is flexed or you're bending your spine. Spinal flexion creates abdominal contraction. So now your abdominals are the primary mover. The number one muscle that is being worked right now is your abdominis rectus. And you're going up and down. We're going to do this for about 1 minute, still breathing as deeply as possible, no pain, feeling that burn. That burning sensation isolated to your abdominals is lactic acid, and that is a wonderful thing. It shows that you are working. You're actually reducing the risk of diabetes by feeling that burn. And that is it. That is 1 minute. Next exercise, you're going to flip over onto your stomach, and then we're going to do a back extension. I love to call them Superman. We're 5 minutes in. You're doing great. Okay, so you're going to do a Superman. You're going to lift up your chest and keep your hips on the ground. You could keep your feet grounded on the floor. If it's easier to lift up your feet off the ground, that's okay too, as long as there's no pain. And start. So you're lifting up your chest off the ground as high as possible. So optimally, it's a few inches off the ground. You're pausing at the top and going back down. Back extension or Superman. Again, breathing as deeply as possible, no pain, visualizing yourself doing this perfectly to create more of a mind-body connection or a mind-muscle connection. Imagine your lumbar spine or your lower back muscles contracting, and see them whichever way you visualize them, but see them contracting. When a muscle contracts, it actually gets smaller. Okay? It shortens in length, like the bicep. You could see it shorten. You may not be able to see it visually right now, but with your vision, you can see it in your mind. Fantastic. Back extensions. And next is push up. And ready, set, start. Pushing up from the ground, keeping your abdominals tight, pushing up all the way up. Let's see if you could do this for 1 minute. 1 minute out of the 1,440 minutes of the day. If you need to pause at the top and keep your arms straight in a plank, that is phenomenal. See if you could hold that for 60 seconds. If you could, go through the range of motion of a push-up as deeply as possible. Optimally, your chest is touching the ground every time. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do it. Definitely do not feel guilty if you are, or discouraged if you're not going all the way down. You're doing it. You're doing amazing right now. You're contracting the muscle. That is what we're looking for. We're looking for contraction of the muscle, which is resistance, tension, and stress to that muscle. Right now, it's the chest and abdominals. That's 1 minute. You did phenomenal. And we're going to lay back down onto your stomach, and we're going to do the back extension one more time. And ready, set, and go. Your back extension or your Superman, you're lifting your chest up off the ground. Your hands could be on your lower back. Your hands could be by your hips, or your hands can be right next to your head, kind of making like a field goal symbol, or Superman flying through the air with arms bent or arms extended and straight. And you're lifting up. Every time you lift up, pause at the top of that range of motion and go back down. Breathing as deeply as possible, going for non-stop movement throughout this entire workout, because you are doing an active recovery. So you're doing back extension and then push up. So your chest works one, and then your lower back works in the other while the chest is resting. Excellent. Lower back is feeling stronger and mightier. We're going to go right into that push up. And ready, take a deep breath and begin. For 1 minute, you got this. Pushing up. If you're having a lot of trouble going throughout the 1 minute, feel free to hold the plank or take a few seconds, a deep breath or 3, and go back into the push-up. Remember, you could do these all throughout the day, like exercise snacks, and do if you're doing 30 right now, you could do 10 or 20 times throughout the day and get 100, 200, or even 400 push-ups in one day. And that will get you to be able to train your muscle so that this becomes easier. You're doing great. 15 more seconds. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. You're doing amazing. Push on through. Doing phenomenal. Working that hope molecule. The hope molecule is something we recently found in science, and that is it. For your push-up, you're going on to the next exercise. You're going to flip over and go back into leg lift. Going right into leg lift and begin. Working that hope molecule again. Yeah, that hope molecule is determined by science. When your blood starts pumping, your muscles start contracting, you actually create hope in your body. Woo-wee! Feeling good, feeling amazing, getting that hope molecule working. You're spreading all of that hope throughout your body. You're transporting more oxygen and nutrition and vitamins and minerals throughout your body by doing these exercises. You're actually able to get more nutrition into your body when you exercise. The minerals or electrolytes cannot even go into your cell without activity. Like calcium, for instance, or magnesium cannot go into the bone without weight-bearing activity. Next exercise is going to be your hip thrust. Remember, we did leg lift. Now we're doing hip thrust. So feet close to your body, knees bent, and you're pushing up. Begin. Hip thrust, pushing your hips up as high as possible. You're contracting your glutes, your buttocks. You're contracting your lower back. You're contracting your hamstrings and even your quadriceps. This is an amazing exercise for your core, working all of the 27 or so muscles surrounding your spine, your abdominals, even your transverse abdominals and obliques are working ever so slightly to stabilize this motion. You're doing phenomenal. About 17 more seconds left. With the hip thrust, pushing your hips up in the air, contracting all of those muscles with your mind-body connection, getting your feet grounded onto the ground. Next exercise is going to be your abdominal crunch. So breathe in deep, reset your mind, see yourself doing it before you even move, and begin. Your hands are on your thighs and you're touching up to your knees. So you're bending your spine or spinal flexion, and that creates abdominal contraction. You're flexing your abdominals. You can feel them contracting every time, working that muscle. This helps with posture. This helps develop the six-pack that so many people seek after. Although seeing the six-pack and having a six-pack are two different things. Once our body fat percentage is at a certain level, we can see the six-pack. And once we work the abdominals enough, we have the six-pack. You're doing phenomenal, pushing through that burning sensation. Just 5 more seconds. Phenomenal work with the abdominal crunch. Excellent. And you're going to flip over onto your stomach. And we're going to do the last set of Supermans or back extension. This is your third set. So you're going to extend up and lift your chest off the ground and begin. Your feet could be grounded on the floor or they could lift up every time. Sometimes we call it a parachute when we lift up our feet and hands. You're contracting that muscle in your lower back when you lift up. So you could see it, visualize it, feel that burn. Create a clear distinction between the up phase and the down phase. Pausing at the top of that movement and then going back down. Just for a split second, not even a full second, like a half a second or so that you can reduce the risk of injury by creating a clear distinction of the up phase and the down phase, the concentric and eccentric motion. And this prevents momentum. Momentum could add a lot of weight that you may not be ready for. Excellent. And that's that 1 minute timer. Are you ready for the last set of push-ups? Yes, I know you are. Dig deep into your spirit. See yourself doing it. And ready, set, begin. Push, grip the earth, grip the floor with your fingers and push. Instead of feeling it in your chest, feel in your abdominals. Contract your abdominals. Keep your shoulders and your hips in line with each other. So your hips come up also, not just your shoulders. If you had a straight bar, it would go from your head to your tailbone. So imagine your spine as a steel rod, perfectly straight as you're doing this push-up. When you push, you could breathe out and push up with a little more power, a little more speed than you are going down. So you could think of it like 1 second up and 2 seconds down. Push up 1 second and down 1, 2. Excellent. And now you can hop on up to standing position. You're going to be standing right now, and we're going to go into the squat. And you're going to squat down right now as deep as you can and begin with the squat. Squatting down nice and low, creating a clear distinction from the up and down phase. Squatting down, a little teeny pause, and back up as deep as you can. If you can squat with your hamstrings to touch your calf muscles as deep as you can go like a child, that is optimal. If you need to, if you're having an off day, then you can, or you're just in the beginning of your training, you've taken a little bit of time off, then you're going to make your hamstrings parallel to the ground. So it's like you're sitting in a chair and standing back up. Keep moving. A few seconds left. Squatting it out. Breathing super deep. Your heart rate is elevating right now. This is a big benefit. Next exercise, I'm going to give you a moment to grab your bands, and we're going to do an overhead press. If you don't have your bands with you right now, your exercise bands, then you could go into a pyramid, like in yoga, where your hands are on the ground. You're kind of in like a push-up position, but you're in a pyramid position with your hips up super high. And you could get into that position, and you're going to hold it for 1 minute. Optimally, you're doing a little bend, a little push-up, even if it's 1 inch, or you get your head all the way to the ground and back up. So you have your bands by now, or you are in position of the pyramid push-up. And ready, begin for 1 minute. Pressing overhead, an overhead press with the band, or you are doing that same overhead press by inverting your body in a pyramid and pushing. You could easily hold it in a static position, the pyramid also. If you're holding your bands, you're pushing overhead and coming back down. Pushing overhead and coming back down. Remember to keep the wrist directly over your elbow so you are aligned. Your wrist is over the elbow, so you are perfectly aligned throughout that entire range of motion, pressing to the top, breathing out as you press overhead and coming back down, pressing overhead and coming back down. And 5 more seconds. You're doing phenomenal. And next exercise, we're going to go right into the squat again. Your heart rate's going to be getting to an all-time high for this workout, We've warmed up. We're more than warm, and you're going right into your squat and squat down. Amazing squat. You're looking good. See the inner child in yourself just playing, exploring with movement. Think about how children squat down, not as an exercise, but as a fun activity. They'll even sit in that deep squat instead of sitting on the floor, which a lot of us have lost in adulthood. This is a way to regain your strength, your inner child, your playful like self. You're doing phenomenal. Squat nice and deep, breathing in as deeply as possible. 20 more seconds. Keep going. You got this. You got this. Do not stop. If you feel pain, of course, stop. But if it's slight discomfort, if it's that stress, that tension, that resistance, push on through. Go deep. Your heart is going to thank you. It's beating so much quicker. Excellent. Phenomenal. And you're going to grab your bands or get into that pyramid position for the pyramid push-up or pike push-up, as it's called in gymnastics, or that pike position, just holding it in a static sense. Breathe deep, see yourself doing it, and push. Overhead press with the band, overhead, or doing that pike push-up. Either way, you're pressing overhead and getting a phenomenal workout. Your wrist is directly over your elbow when you're pressing overhead, so you're aligned to reduce any risk of injury. You're creating a pause in between those two motions so you don't use so much momentum bouncing back and forth. You're using your strength. And when you push up and raise your hand over your head, you're breathing out and then breathing in on the way down. If you have that backwards or you're thinking too hard about it, just breathe. Don't think too hard. Just breathe and push. This is a time where you don't have to think that much. You're using your body much more than your brain right now. Excellent. Phenomenal job doing that overhead press or pike push-up. Last set of squats. I know. Oh, my. You're done after this. You got this. Let's see it. And push, squats. Last set of squats. Last minute of squats. You have 1,440 minutes in a day. You're spending 1 minute of those doing these squats. You're amazing. You got this. Breathing deep. Your heart is thanking you. Your heart is learning how to push more blood with every beat. That is called stroke volume. With every beat that your heart beats, you're pumping out more blood because you are exercising. Especially this squat is one of the greatest exercises known to man. Phenomenal exercise, and we all need it. We all do it. You get up from a chair. In our older age, one of the biggest risks is falling. You're preventing yourself from falling by being more stable. And if you fall, your hips are stronger because you put more minerals, more calcium and magnesium into that bone. And you could stop. And we're going for one more set of the overhead press. Last set, you got it, or the pike push-up, and ready, set, and push. Pressing overhead, getting weight over your head. This is very important. This is a very awesome skill to have, as most people that are over 65 cannot lift 8 pounds over their head. Oh my Lord, you got this. Pushing overhead, phenomenal activity. Overhead press, pushing overhead. You got just not even 30 more seconds left. This is the last set of your overhead press. You got this. Phenomenal job. You dedicated 24 minutes to yourself today. Feeling good, breathing heavy. Panting or breathing heavy is going to increase your cardiovascular endurance. Burning or that lactic acid is going to increase your lactic acid threshold. So simply enough, you're going to be able to lift easier, more weight, and have more endurance, and your heart is going to be able to work better. You're going to be able to breathe easier. You could stop that exercise and you could lay down on the ground. We're going to do a cool off exercise, one last set of your leg lifts, laying on your back, and you're going to do leg lifts. Ready, set, breathe deep, and go. Doing the leg lifts, double leg lift. Last set, so you did 3 sets of every exercise, 3 sets of leg lifts. You did 3 sets of squats. You did 3 sets of overhead press. You did 3 sets of push-up and back extension. And you are about to complete your 3rd set of those other 2 exercises. Focus right now on your leg lift. You got this. 30 more seconds, push on through. If you need to minimize the range of motion, that's okay. You don't need to go as far down to the ground, especially if your back is coming up off the ground. Make sure your lower back is completely pressed against the ground right now. Breathing as deep as possible, feeling and enjoying that resistance, that stress, that tension, but no pain. That is it. You've done it. 3rd set of leg lifts complete. One more set, last set of the hip thrust. Your feet flat on the ground, and you're going to push up and begin. Last minute of your hip thrust, pushing your hip up as high as you can, feet flat on the ground, knees bent, feet as close to your body as possible. If you notice, you'll move your feet just a inch or a half inch closer to your body, and you'll be able to push your hips up that much higher. And you're going to create that slight pause at the top, from the top to going up to going down, that slight pause. So you don't have so much momentum. Momentum can give you 3 to 4 times the amount of weight. It's great to do jumping push-ups and plyometrics, jumping squats, yet when the time is right, we will do that. Right now, we are working on the foundation, building up your core strength and your major muscle groups, your legs and your upper body. You're doing absolutely phenomenal. Last exercise, last set, last minute. You're going to do your crunches, hands on thighs. Ready, set, go. Last minute. 27, almost 28 minutes. You've been working at it now, breathing heavy, breathing hard. You doing this 3 times a week is only an hour and a half of movement. That is a lot compared to 0. Yet compared to our ancestors, even 100, 200 years ago, even some parts of the world today, people are active for 2 to 4, maybe even 6 hours every day just to get food, just to walk for transportation, walking miles a day. This is a way to simulate all that activity. Last set of crunches, push on through. 17 more seconds, you got this. You are training your body as if you're training for hours by increasing the intensity of your training. We don't need as much volume when you have more intensity. Phenomenal job. You did it. Workout completed. 29 minutes on the dot. Although you took about a minute or 2 to listen to me in the beginning, a minute at the end. So it was about 27 movements of nonstop movement. Phenomenal job. You are amazing. Repeat this workout for up to 3 months. Could be up to a year if it's still a little bit challenging for you. Doing this workout 3 times a week. You are doing amazing. You could change up the workout by changing up the order, by changing up the intensity, and you could even change up the time. Thank you so much for joining me on this phenomenal workout brought to you by OGFit.com. OG, like original, like organic, like omnipresent greatness, omnipresent God, OGFit.com. Thank you so much. You are absolutely amazing. Get yourself some water right now. And right now is one of the most essential times or beneficial times to eat. Within 30 minutes to an hour is the best time to eat because your body is going to be able to absorb and assimilate all of the nutrition, the carbohydrates, the fats, the proteins that you're putting into your body. Some fruit is a great choice because it contains carbohydrate, fat, and protein. And if you want some extra calories on there, you could have maybe some fruit like banana with maybe some almonds is a great on the go snack. But whatever you choose to eat is a great option, especially when it contains whole, unprocessed foods like fruits and vegetables, beans and whole grains, nuts and seeds. Thank you so much. You are absolutely amazing. Be sure to get that food in within the hour to make this workout that much more beneficial. Thank you. Blessed love and gratitude.